A young waiter gave his meal to a hungry stranger, unaware he owned the restaurant chain. He was sitting on the back steps, next to the dumpster, just staring at the box of fries in his hands like it was gold or something. And I swear, the dude looked like he hadn't eaten in days. I was on my break, 15 minutes between refilling water pitchers and pretending the manager wasn't screaming at everyone in the kitchen. And I saw him out of the corner of my eye, just sitting there, hoodie up, head down, shivering even though it wasn't that cold. I don't know what it was. I've seen homeless folks around before, sure. Most people do. But this guy, something about him just, I don't know, man. He looked like someone who'd forgotten what it felt like to be human, like even dogs wouldn't bark at him anymore. So I went back inside, grabbed the staff meal they gave us, nothing fancy, just a grilled chicken sandwich, some fries, and a Sprite, and I walked it outside. Didn't say anything at first, just sat down next to him. He didn't even look at me, just kept staring at the fries in his hand like he wasn't sure if they were real. I slid the food in front of him. Hey, you can have mine. I'm not even hungry. He blinked real slow, like his brain needed a second to register it. Then he looked at me for the first time, and man, his eyes, they weren't just tired. They were done, like he'd seen everything and had nothing left. You sure? He whispered. I nodded. Yeah, go ahead. He stared at it for another second. Then he grabbed the sandwich like he was afraid I'd change my mind and took the smallest bite. Like he was saving it, like he didn't want to finish too fast. That hit me hard. I've had nights where I only ate crackers and peanut butter. I've skipped meals to pay rent. But this was different. We sat in silence for a bit. He finished the sandwich real slow, drank the Sprite like it was wine. Then he said, "You're the only one who said a word to me today." I didn't know what to say to that, just kind of nodded. Then he asked, "What's your name?" "Ty," I said, "short for Tyler. You?" He hesitated. "Glenn?" There was something about the way he said it. Not fake, but like he hadn't said it out loud in a long time. I didn't push, just let it sit. After a while, my break was over. I stood up, wiped my hands on my apron. "You gonna be okay out here?" He gave this little half shrug. "Better now?" That stuck with me. Next day, I come in for my shift, and guess who's sitting at the end of the block? Yep, same guy, same hoodie, still cold. I walked past him, and then doubled back and handed him half my breakfast sandwich. He took it without saying much, just gave me this look, like a nod, but deeper. And he kept coming, every single day. Sometimes I brought him a coffee. Sometimes he was already munching on something when I got there. But every time, he'd wait until I showed up. Wouldn't say much. Sometimes nothing at all. Just sit there. A few weeks go by like that. I'm not trying to be a hero or anything, just felt like the right thing, you know? Then one day, I'm bussing tables, and my manager calls me over. "Hey, Ty, guy at table 6 wants to talk to you." I look over, and no lie, it's Glenn. But he looks different, like he's clean, hairbrushed, wearing a jacket that actually fits, fresh jeans, no more hoodie. I walk up like, "Hey man, you good?" He smiles, like really smiles, and stands up. "Mind if we talk outside?" I glance at my manager. She shrugs, if it's quick. So we head out back, same dumpster spot, and I go, "Didn't expect to see you in there. You look good, man." He laughs. "Yeah, I had to test something." I blink. "Test what?" He pauses, then says the wildest thing I've ever heard. "I own this place." Well, not just this one, the whole chain. I thought he was joking, like, ha ha, plot twist. he just stood there, waiting for me to believe it. What? I'm Glenn Baxter, Baxter Hospitality. We run over 100 restaurants across the country. I came here to check on things anonymously. I wanted to see how my people get treated. Not just the guests, the people out back, the workers, the ones most folks ignore. I stared at him, couldn't speak. He went on. I've been doing this in a few spots, posing as homeless, sitting near dumpsters, seeing how the staff responds. You're the first person, the only person, who offered me anything. I could feel my mouth hanging open. Wait, you were undercover? He nodded. Yeah. No cameras, no team, just me. I sat down, trying to process. He looked at me and said, You changed how I see my own company. And then he reached into his coat and pulled out a folded piece of paper, handed it to me. I opened it. It was a job offer, corporate, full-time, good salary, benefits, travel, the works. He said, You've got something most people don't, Ty. Heart. And I want that kind of heart helping me run things. And I swear, I just sat there, holding that paper, trying not to cry. Because all I'd done was share a sandwich. I didn't say yes right away. I wanted to. Who wouldn't? It was the kind of offer that people like me don't even dream about. Because you don't dream about things you think could never happen. But still, my brain wouldn't let me say it out loud. I just looked at him and went, Why me? And Glenn, he didn't even hesitate. He said, Because when you thought I was nobody, you treated me like somebody. That line hit different. I grew up hearing people talk about how they'd do the right thing if they had the chance. But truth is, most of them don't even notice the chance when it's sitting right in front of them. And I guess maybe I didn't either. I wasn't trying to be noticed. I just couldn't walk past someone who looked like that. So I said yes. He gave me 2 weeks to wrap things up. Said I could start in the city, at the main office. Said they'd cover the relocation, get me set up with housing, help me settle in. It didn't feel real. Not until I walked back inside, still holding the offer letter. My manager looked at me, raised an eyebrow, and went, What was that about? And I swear, I just grinned like an idiot and said, You'll see. 2 weeks later, I'm in a button-up shirt standing in a skyscraper lobby with polished floors that reflect everything, even your nerves. I keep tugging at my sleeves like they don't fit right, even though they do. My shoes are new. My breath feels weird in my chest. The receptionist waves me through with a smile like she's known me forever. I step into an elevator that smells like money and ambition and weirdly expensive cologne. And when the doors open, Glenn's waiting. Welcome home, he says, like we're old friends. He walks me through the office, introduces me to people in suits with names that sound like they belong on building plaques, tells them I'm joining the innovation team, whatever that means. And you know what's wild? They all nod, like it makes sense, like I belong there. Not one of them asks where I went to school. Not one of them looks at me like a charity case, because Glenn already told them what mattered. After the tour, he pulls me into his office. Big windows, a view that could make your problems feel small. And he says, You nervous? I go, Yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing here. He chuckles. Neither did I at first. Then he leans back and says something I'll never forget. Ty, when I was your age, I was sleeping in my car. You think I got here by being perfect? Nah, I got here by learning fast and caring harder than anyone else. He pauses, then adds, The rest? You'll pick it up, trust me. And just like that, I believed him. First few days were rough. I was drowning in acronyms. Everyone talked fast, moved faster. Meetings, spreadsheets, strategy calls. I was playing catch-up every second. But I listened, took notes like my life depended on it, asked questions even when I felt stupid. And Glenn? He checked in every day. Need anything? Confused about anything? You sleeping okay? It didn't feel like a boss-employee thing. It felt human. And slowly, piece by piece, I started to get it. I wasn't just there to fill a chair. Glenn wanted me to help fix things, to look at how they treated staff, to give feedback from the bottom up. So I did. Told them about the scheduling system that always messed up weekends. Told them how the training manuals felt like reading tax code. Told them how nobody listens when the dish guy says the fryer's leaking oil until someone slips on it. They actually listened. Next thing I know, I'm helping rewrite company policies, helping build a program where any staffer, no matter how low level, can submit ideas and actually get rewarded for them. We called it Ground Floor Gold. It took off. One night, Glenn calls me to his office after hours. I think maybe I messed up. But he's smiling. He shows me an email. Someone from a restaurant 2 states over used our new system to suggest a tiny change to how they prepped sauces. Saved the company $20,000 a year. You see that? Glenn says. That's you. I shook my head. Nah, man, that's them. I just opened the door. And he goes, yeah. But they wouldn't have knocked if you didn't show them it was okay. A few months go by. Things feel solid. I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm getting used to the view. Then one morning, I see something that messes me up. I'm on my way into the office, and I spot a guy by the parking garage digging through the trash can. He looks rough. Hoodie, same dead eyes. Same posture I remember from Glenn the first time I saw him. And I freeze. Because now, it's me on the other side. And all I can think is, what would Glenn do? So I walk over. Say, hey man, you hungry? He looks up like I'm speaking another language. I smile. Come on, I know a place nearby, good pancakes. But before we leave, I give him my number. Tell him if he ever needs work, I might know someone. And as I'm walking away, it hits me. I'm becoming the kind of person Glenn was to me. And that feels better than any paycheck. 2 weeks later, that guy calls me. Doesn't text, calls. And the second I pick up, he goes, hey, it's the guy from the pancakes. I didn't think you'd actually answer. I laugh. Of course I answered, man. What's up? He tells me he's been sleeping in a shelter. Says he wants to work, needs to work. He just doesn't know where to start. So I tell him to meet me at the downtown location. It's one of our busiest spots. I already talked to the GM, pulled a few strings, told them I was sending someone who just needed a shot. The guy's name is Marcus. He shows up in a shirt 2 sizes too big and shoes with duct tape around the toes. But he shows up early. That's what sticks with me. I introduce him around, watch him shadow one of the bussers. He moves a little slow, but he's trying, eyes sharp, listening. End of the day, the manager calls me. Guy's green, she says, but I like him. And just like that, Marcus gets hired, starting at minimum wage, sure. But it's a foot in the door. And more than that, he knows someone believes in him. A week later, I go visit. He's wiping down tables, sweat dripping down his face, smiling. I ask, how's it feel? And he looks at me and goes, I forgot what it felt like to be tired from working, not from surviving. That line stays with me. Time passes. I keep moving up. I'm in rooms now where people actually wait for me to speak. I'm helping decide new training programs, setting up staff wellness checks, even sitting on hiring panels for district managers. But the higher I go, the more I see the cracks. Yeah, the company's growing. But the heart? It's fragile. It's easy to lose track of real people when everything becomes charts and profit margins. One afternoon, Glenn pulls me into a meeting. There's tension in the air. Big-time investors. People in suits who talk like they've never eaten fast food a day in their lives. They're pushing for automation, self-serve kiosks, less labor, more profit. One guy literally says, "Why are we still paying for humans to pour sodas?" Glenn's quiet. Then he looks at me. "Ty, what do you think?" Every head turns, and I swear for a second I want to shrink into the floor. But I take a breath, and I go, "I think it's easy to talk about efficiency when you've never had your rent depend on a shift." The room goes dead quiet. I keep going. "I think humans notice when a customer's having a rough day. A machine doesn't. A kid walks in crying because his mom forgot his birthday. A person sees that. A person hands him a free cookie and makes him smile. That's what brings people back. That's what builds loyalty, not machines." The room stays quiet for a beat. Then Glenn nods. Couldn't have said it better. We walk out of that meeting, and he claps me on the shoulder. "You just saved 100 jobs, Ty." A month later, I get an email from Marcus. Subject line, guess what? He tells me he just got promoted to team lead. Says he's saving up for his own place. Says he hasn't missed a single shift in 6 months. He ends it with, "Thanks for giving a stranger pancakes. You changed my life." I lean back in my chair, just staring at the screen. And all I can think about is how I almost walked past him that day. How Glenn could have walked past me. And I realize something big. We're all one choice away from being somebody else. One act of kindness away from changing someone's whole direction. One night, I'm at this leadership summit. Glenn's the keynote speaker. He gets up on stage, lights dim, crowd packed with execs in suits. He starts telling this story about how he used to go undercover to test his own staff. People laugh nervously, like, is he serious? Then he says, "I met a young man who didn't know who I was. Thought I was homeless. He gave me his food. His name is Ty. And he's sitting right here." Spotlight hits me. People clap. I want to disappear under the table. But then Glenn says, "He reminded me who we are. What this company is supposed to stand for." That moment, that's when it all clicks. It's not just about business, not even about food. It's about dignity, about seeing people, really seeing them. And in a room full of money and titles and ego, I finally felt like I knew my purpose. Not just to climb, but to lift. A week after that summit, Glenn calls me into his office again. He's quiet this time. No jokes, no small talk, just slides a folder across the desk. I open it, and my heart jumps. It's a promotion. Senior Director of Community Initiatives. But that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is the scope. Not just policy stuff. Not just back-end systems. I'd be in charge of launching a whole new program, partnering with shelters, youth centers, job training programs, giving people second chances through employment. He says, "We're calling it Step Forward, and I want you to build it." I just stare at him. "You sure?" I ask. I don't have the degrees. I'm not a public speaker. I'm still figuring this out." And Glenn smiles. "Exactly. You get it. That's what matters." So I take the job. And that's when the work really begins. I start visiting shelters, talking to people who've been written off, kids who aged out of foster care, veterans with PTSD, single moms running from abusive homes, guys who did time and can't even get a call back from a gas station. And I listen. That's all I do at first. Just listen. One woman tells me, "I got clean 6 months ago, but no one wants to hire someone with a record." A teenager says, "I never even had a job interview. I don't even know what to wear." And I keep thinking, if I didn't have that one weird moment with Glenn, I'd be them. So I start building. Resume workshops, interview prep, mental health support, housing referrals. We make partnerships with community orgs, churches, even local governments. And for every person we bring in, we pair them with a mentor inside the company. Someone who's been there, someone who gets it. We don't just give them jobs. We give them a path, a way forward. And yeah, some people mess up, some drop out. It's not a perfect system, but a lot of them, they stick, they thrive, they become leaders. One day, I'm walking into one of the new stores we opened through Step Forward. There's this young girl at the counter, maybe 19, maybe less. She's helping an older woman figure out the self-checkout. Patient, kind. After the woman leaves, I walk up and say, "Hey, that was really great how you helped her." She shrugs, but she's smiling. "You're new?" I ask. She nods. 2 months. This is the longest I've ever had a job. I introduce myself, and her eyes go wide. "Wait, you're the Ty? The guy from the pancake story?" I laugh. "Yeah, guilty." She looks at me and says, "My caseworker told me about you. Said if you could do it, maybe I could too." And man, I almost lost it right there. Because all those nights I doubted myself, all the days I felt like an imposter, they suddenly meant something. Later that week, Glenn invites me to his place. It's this gorgeous house by the water. Nothing flashy, just calm. We sit on the back deck, watching the sun go down. And he says, "You've built something I couldn't have." I shake my head. "You gave me the shot." He nods. "Yeah, but you turned it into a movement." We sit in silence for a minute. Then he says, "I'm stepping back soon. Taking more time for family, travel. I need someone to carry the mission." I look at him stunned. "You mean, not CEO, not yet?" He laughs. "But executive VP, over the whole human side of the business. Culture, growth, Step Forward, everything." I can't even speak, and he just looks at me and goes, "You in?" And for the first time ever, I don't hesitate. I say, "Yeah, I'm in." That night, I call my mom. She picks up worried. "You okay? It's late." And I just say, "Ma, Becca, remember when you used to tell me to keep being kind even when people weren't?" She sighs. "Of course." "Well, it worked." I tell her everything. She starts crying, and I realize this isn't just my story. It's hers too. It's everyone who ever believed when they had no reason to. Everyone who gave when they had nothing to spare. Everyone who kept showing up. This whole thing started with a meal, but it turned into a movement. 3 months later, we're opening a new training hub in the city, part of the Step Forward expansion. It's in a neighborhood that's been through it. Closed factories, boarded up windows, a lot of folks who feel like the world forgot them. But today, there's music playing, kids running around, people smiling. We've got food, job booths, even free haircuts. And right in the center, there's a big sign that says, "Everyone deserves a second chance." I'm standing near the sign when a guy taps my shoulder. "Ty?" I turn around, and for a second, I don't recognize him. He's got a fresh fade, new clothes, confidence in his posture. Then he grins. Man, it's me. Marcus, I blink. Marcus? He nods. Told you I'd make you proud. I pull him into a hug so hard we nearly fall over. He tells me he's now running the downtown location. Full-time manager. He's mentoring 2 step-forward hires and just signed the lease on his first apartment. And he says, I brought someone you gotta meet. He turns, waves someone over. A little girl, maybe 6, comes skipping up and grabs his hand. This is my daughter, Zara, he says, beaming. She lives with me now, full custody. I crouch down. Hi, Zara. Your dad's kind of a superhero, you know that? She nods, serious. I know. And I swear, that moment right there, that's when I knew we were doing something right. Not because we saved Marcus, because Marcus is saving someone else now. We start getting calls from other companies, retail chains, grocery stores, even some big tech firms. They want in. They want to know how Step Forward works, how to replicate it. Some are just chasing good press, but others, they get it. They're tired of hiring like it's a checklist. They want heart back in the equation. So we start consulting, building toolkits, setting up pilot programs. Within a year, we help place over 2,000 people into jobs. And not just jobs, careers, paths. We bring in mental health support, financial literacy classes, crisis counseling. We go into prisons. We speak at high schools. We start hearing stories like, I finally got off the street. I'm sending my kid to college. I walked past a job fair and now I'm a supervisor. And every single one of them started with a risk, someone taking a chance on someone else. One night, I'm speaking at this big national conference. There's CEOs, mayors, nonprofit leaders, all of them waiting for me to talk. And I start by saying, look, I'm not here to give you a shiny pitch. I'm here to tell you something real. I used to be a waiter, a broke kid working doubles. I gave my meal to a guy I thought was homeless. That guy turned out he owned the restaurant chain. People laugh. But then I lean in and say, and that moment changed my life because it reminded me that what we do when no one's watching, that's who we really are. I tell them about Marcus, about Zara, about the girl at the register who never had a job before. I say, don't just hire people for what they've done. Hire them for who they're trying to become. And I end it with, if we want stronger companies, we need to build stronger people. Standing ovation. But that's not what hits me. What hits me is the line of people waiting afterward. One woman says, I've been waiting to hear someone talk like that for years. A man says, my brother's been in and out of work since his discharge. Can you help him? And I look at all these faces, real people, not data points. And I think, this is it. This is why I'm here. A few weeks later, Glenn invites me back to where it all started, that first diner. It looks different now, updated menu, fresh paint. But the bones are the same. We sit at the same booth. He orders pancakes. I laugh. Still your go-to? I ask. He shrugs. Sometimes you stick with what works. He pauses, then says, you know, I never thanked you properly. For what? For reminding me that a business isn't just about growth, it's about grace. I nod. You gave me a shot. I just paid it forward. He smiles. Number you multiplied it. We eat in silence for a bit, and I look around at the servers, the families, the couple arguing over syrup, the kid scribbling on a napkin with a crayon. It's not fancy, but it's real. It's home. A few months later, we're doing this internal event, kind of like a big family reunion for all the folks who came through Step Forward. There's music, food, people reconnecting, laughter everywhere. And then someone taps the mic, It's Marcus. He steps up, clears his throat, and says, I don't really speak in front of crowds. So if I mess this up, blame Ty. Everyone laughs. He continues, I used to think I was the kind of person nobody rooted for. Like I made my bed, right? Did the time, screwed up. That's it. He pauses, voice catching a little. But then someone gave me a shot, not just a job, a chance to believe in myself again, a chance to be someone my daughter could be proud of. I glance around and see more than a few people wiping their eyes. Marcus adds, I used to feel invisible. Now I feel seen. I feel real. He looks at me and says, Thank you, Ty, for being the first person who looked at me and didn't see a mistake. I stand, walk up, and we hug right there in front of everyone. And in that moment, I swear, every hard thing I ever went through, it felt like it led to this. A reporter once asked me, Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you didn't give him that meal that day? And I thought about it. Maybe I would have kept waiting tables. Maybe I'd be managing a diner somewhere. Maybe I'd be scraping by. But more than that, maybe thousands of people would still be stuck in the dark, just waiting for someone to see them. Because it wasn't just about that one act. It was about how we look at people. Do we see potential? Or just problems? Do we see someone worth the risk? Or someone we write off? I told that reporter, I think we've all got a version of Glenn walking into our lives. The question is, what do we do when he does? These days, I walk into stores and see people I used to sit with in shelters, in holding cells, on park benches. They're wearing name tags now, smiling, running things. Some of them don't even recognize me. And I like it that way, because it means they've stepped into their own story now. They don't need me anymore. They've got this. And that's the point, not to save people, but to show them they were never broken in the first place. And yeah, sometimes people still ask why I did it, why I gave up my meal that day. I tell them the truth. I was hungry too. But something in me said, this matters more. I didn't know why at the time. I just knew. I couldn't look away. Because the thing is, the moment we stop seeing people as just strangers, everything changes. That's where healing starts. That's where stories begin. And maybe, just maybe, that's where we begin too. If you were in this situation, what would you do? Have you ever gone through something like this, or helped someone who did? Let us know in the comments. Like the video if you felt it. And subscribe if you want more life stories that stay with you.